guys how to make this bubu dress. So the first thing I'm going to be using Akara for this here. So this is the fabric here. This is about 3.5 yards of fabric. So 3.5 yards of fabric in total. But you can use 2 different colors. All you have to do is just to cut maybe just cut enough to be the length that you're working with, and then like fold one color to be the top part, and then fold the second 2 colors to be the one at the bottom. So that means maybe let's say I decide to do Akara and a different color of Akara, so I'm just going to fold the first part of the Akara this way, and then fold another piece of Akara and place it. All that matters is that the 2 of them are like this, and then I'm going to just rule like 1/2 inch of seam allowance in between so that I can be able to join it at the center. So that's basically how you're going to do it. So you see how I folded this one, you see the edge. So this is basically the opening of the Akara, and then I folded it this way, right? So if it was just like I said, if it was 2 colors that I'm working with, I'll just fold the first one, keep it, and then fold the second one, place it on top, right? The reason why I'm using 3.5 is because my shoulder to my ankle is about 59 or 58 inches. So it depends on you, the height or the length you're working with. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to go up from the shoulder here, and I'm going to mark my shoulder to my nipple line, which is going to be about somewhere at 11.5 or so, somewhere here. And then the next line I'm going to mark is from my shoulder to my knee, right? My shoulder to my knee is at 40 inches, which is here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the length of the dress, which is supposed to be at 58 or so. So somewhere here. Don't mind the line that I'm drawing, but just know that these are the 3 lines I need here. My shoulder to my nipple, the shoulder to my knee, and then the length of the dress. So once I've done that, the next thing I have to do is just to come here to the neckline. This is going to be my neckline, and then I'm going to mark 3 inches of neckline. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, if I want, I can still maintain this, my shoulder to my nipple line, to be my neck line, right? You know it's a V-neck, so if I want, I can maintain this line, or if I want, I can just take it up by 2 inches. So let's say I take it up by 2 inches from that particular line, and then on 1 inch, because I want the neckline to be low, so I'm just going to take it up 1 inch from there, and then I'm going to go in by 1.5 inches from here. So 1.5 in, and then 1 inch going up. Or you can just place your tape at the top here and measure the neckline you want. Measure the neckline, the length you want it to be. And then from there, I'm just going to connect these 3 inches of neck depth to this 1.5 that I marked down here. So guys, now the next thing I'm going to do is just to go up to my shoulder and mark 1 inch of shoulder slope down here. And then I'm just going to connect it to the tip of this, my 3 inches neckline. Just connect it this way and mark like your shoulder slope down to the end. So this is basically all I have to do now. The next thing for the neckline, the next thing I have to do is just to pull this up a little bit, and then I'm going to go from this, remember this one is my shoulder to my knee. I'm going to measure about putting my hip measurement here. So my hip measurement is 48, divided by 4 is by 12, but I'm going to add, let's say about let's say I add 2 inches more to it. If you want, you can just use your hip measurement plus maybe extra 1 inch or so. It depends on you. Or some people even use their hip measurement directly. Just place your hip measurement here and connect it. But I want it a little bit loose. I don't want it free at all. So I'm just going to do that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up from my knee length, go up by, let's say, about 7 inches or 8 inches from there, and still maintain the same measurement that I placed here. So I'm still going to maintain whatever measurement, my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches or plus 3, anyone I did, I'm still going to maintain it, and then rule a straight line. Also bring down this same measurement down to the edge of my clothes, right? Bring it down to the edge here. Also consider your seam allowance. So to the extra that you're adding, remember you need to also include the seam allowance in it. So this whole part will be straight, right? This whole part, I know you will see some that are joined together, 2 different colors, and then they have a slit in front. You can also do that. Just know that all you have to do. If it's two different colors now, I'll just leave like half an inch of seam allowance at the center to sew it. And once I get to maybe to my knee, I will not sew it close. I'll just fold each one separately, just for the front, right? I'll just leave it open in front. That will now form a slit just right at the center front at the bottom. So that's how you do that one, because I know you guys will also see a style like that. So I'm going to just connect this line this way, and then the next thing I have to do is just from the edge of this part now, I'm going to, so that I can create that bat wing, because it's like a bat wing, I'm going to just give it a curve like this up to the bottom of where this your sleeve is supposed to end, somewhere like this. And then this is basically it, and then the neckline goes down straight. So that's basically all I have to do. I'm now going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm going to start from the bottom here and cut it all the way to the top out now. So the next thing I have to cut is just to bring this down, and then from here I will still separate it before I go ahead and cut this. But before I separate it, let me just mark my 1 inch of shoulder slope, shoulder neck, back neckline. So come down here 1 inch. This is going to be my back neckline. This one in front here is going to be my front neckline, right? Remember, we went in 3 inches for the neckline and then 1.5 down here, and then you connected it. But you have to determine the length you want yours to be. You can do 7 inches, 8 inches, or anyone, or you can just go from the bottom and mark from your nipple line and go up a little bit. So now I'm going to cut the back neckline on the two of them, but the front neckline I'll cut after I've separated it. So I'm just going to now cut the shoulder slope now. Just cut it out. So guys, you see what my dress is looking like right now? This is it here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and separate it. So guys, I'm going to separate one from this. I know that one is my back and then the second one is my front, right? So this one here now, the one I marked the chalk on, will be my front panel, so that I can remove the neckline that I already marked. So this is it here. Place everything right, and then make sure you place it correctly so that you don't make a mistake. So now this is it. So I can go ahead now and cut my neckline. So this is my neckline here. Go ahead and cut out. And then after cutting it out, one thing I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and go in here, maybe by half an inch or so. Just go in on this angle here, just give it a notch like this. You see, I've cut mine open just a little bit, not even up to half an inch, like 0.25 is okay. So now that we've done that, we are going to go ahead and get the fabric we are using for the neckline. Guys, before I even go ahead to talk about the neckline, you see, I'm using a color that matches the cloth. So what I'm going to do now is just to take this one. This is cotton fabric. You can use crepe, you can use doll face. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to turn this around now, the way it is, so that I can be able to join the shoulder to the shoulder of the front and the back. So this is the back. All I have to do is just go to the sewing machine and join the shoulder together. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and fold and sew this together, join it together. You see the right sides are facing each other. Join the shoulder like you're sewing a kimono. Come on this side to join the two shoulders together this way. Once I've done that, I'll come back so that we can measure our neckline. Next thing I have to do now is just to take my tape and measure the neckline. So start from one part of this and measure from this to the top, and then measure the back neckline. Measure everything in total, and then take it down like this and measure what you have. So in total I should have about 28 inches, but I added extra 2 inches just in case. And then I cut out the length I need. And guys, if you look at this here, you will see that I notched on this side. At the same time, I decided to just fold the edge of my sleeve. Just stop wherever your this shoulder to your nipple line stops. That's the opening I'm using. So I stopped somewhere there. I just notched it on the side. I stopped the same thing on the other side too. I stopped there. So once I finish the neckline now, I will sew that close. But before then, this is my neckline. This is the color I'm using. So what I did here is just to cut out fabric that is 5 inches of width. Like open, if I open it up, it's 5 inches of width. And then I cut out this thing they stay about 4 inches of width, so that it can just stay in between and leave half an inch at the edge for me. Because since this one is 4 inches and the one behind it is 5 inches, the main fabric is 5 inches. If I put this inside of it, I will have like half an inch left, right? That's 1 inch left. That's 1 inch. 5 inch minus 4 is 1, right? So I have half an inch on top and half an inch at the bottom. So once I fold it into 2 now, what I'm going to have is 2.5 inches for this, and then I'm going to have that half an inch at the edge. So all I have to do is just to take it the way it is and then find halfway through, which is somewhere here, and then go ahead and notch it, right? Notch it at the top here, and also find halfway through my neckline here. Find halfway through my neckline, let me notch it also, and then I'm going to take the 2 of them the way they are, this way, and then join it together. Just start from that part that I notched and then place the 2 together and just sew it down on this neckline. I'm going to sew it until I get to this other notch at this part here. Sew it into that part. Sew it the same thing on this other side. Sew it like this. I'm going to just take it and sew it until I get to this other part. So guys, at this point, you see why I said to notch that half an inch, so that if you want, you can now tuck it in and just sew it down this way. Just sew it down, and this can be a different neckline of its own. That's why I said you can even bring it down to your nipple line and it will still cover, because you see some part of it overlap. You see just the part that is open on the neck here, it's just this part. So that's why I said you can always bring yours down a little bit more if you want to, because I'm thinking I should have brought mine down a little bit more, but I'll just leave it the way it is. So after that, the next thing, you can go ahead and cut out square of, like, you see what mine looks like. The length here is about, I think, 13 or 14 inches, and here is 10 inches, and then marked it this way. Let me bring out my tape so you guys can. So guys, this is 14 inches on this side, and then this is also 14 inches on this side, and then from this angle it's 15, and then on this bottom part is about 9 inches. And if I turn it around, you will see that I went ahead and ironed this inside of it. You don't have to iron this even for the neckline. You can just leave yours plain the way it is, but because this is a cotton fabric I'm working with and it's transparent, and this fabric has so much bold prints on it, I don't want, when I place it on this, if you're looking at it, it will look as if it's transparent and you could see the color behind it. So that's why I decided to iron this inside of it. So all I have to do now is just to place it this way, right where the this neck part is. And guys, once you do it, cut this thing that you place inside, try to leave about half an inch on all the edges, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off some parts so that I can have the half an inch to fold all this edge. You can even iron it down on your sewing machine once, so that once you place it like this, once you place it, just place it how you want it to be. If you want it to be at the center, or if you want it to move like towards one side, and then you just go ahead and fold this part in and place it on top of this here, sew that down, and then go towards this side, fold this part down, sew it all the way to the end, fold the edge, fold the side, and that will be it. Once you finish that, you can go ahead and also close up the sides of your clothes like a straight stitch all the way down and fold the edge, and that's basically how you make this. So I'm going to go ahead now and couple mine together, and I'll bring it back for you guys to see. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished mine. So this is it here. Like I said, if you want the bottom part a little bit fitted, you can just put your hip measurement and use that alone, instead of doing plus extra inches that's at your knee point. So that's basically it. See what the back looks like. So this is the back. Once you wear it, don't bother about the width now, it will still drop. So this is basically what it looks like. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.